If you don't know, you're about to know right now. You're about to learn. Education. I'm Quindell Evans, and welcome to the Blue Poet Tree podcast. The podcast where we speak about habits that it takes to create a successful life and the habits that it takes to break through and overcome a stressful life. You feel me, them? And on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about consciousness and spirituality, you know, and some more other things among that topic. You know, there's some other things that has to do with that topic. And right now I'm with my friend V.
Yo.
And, you know, we're here. We just finished kind of warming up and outlining exactly what we want to speak about this, how we want to speak about this topic with you guys, because we feel like there's a difference between consciousness and spirituality. You know, people like to say there's a conscience community out there, and then there's the spiritual community out there, and a lot of times they're grouped together as one. You know, a lot of times they're spoke about as if they're the same, you know, but they're not, and you know, they both have an effect on us.
Absolutely.
So I've met V, digitally. You know, I host an open mic, and you know, so I'm always looking on other open mic pages and looking up poets in New York City.
He tagged me.
So I wanted, you know, like I wanted to. I saw you. I don't know what open mic. I think I seen you perform at, and I followed you and stuff like that. I think it was like Articulate NYC or like Open Mic Renegades or something. I don't know what.
No, it couldn't be those. Those are fairly new for me. So I don't know who it was.
I don't know.
That's the power of social media, though, right?
Yeah. So I saw you performing or maybe being featured or something at an open mic, and I checked your page out, and you know, I was pretty much liking what I seen. You know, a lot of times we see these sad poets, you know, and you know, I was intrigued by the fact that this was a different type of poet, not your normal sad, feel bad for me, I hate my parents,
right,
type of poet, the world is ending type of poet, you know, the conscience type of poet.
Mm-hmm.
So I was excited to, like, you know, I think I tagged you and then I DM'd you, like, you know, pop out, like I sent you the flyer to the Golo.
Yeah,
and
I think it was something like that.
You came out. I sent you the flyer, like, yo,
yeah,
just pop out, you know. And then the next time I featured you,
which was so dope. I still appreciate you for that. That was my first feature.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's dope.
You know, it was worth it for me. I appreciate hearing real healing poetry.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I was intrigued by the you know, your aura, your vibe, like exactly what you do. I'm like, nah, she's different. She's fire. You don't get this at open mics too often. I mean, there's plenty of people out there who share healing poetry. I done seen different things, but not with the same energy, not with the same passion, not with the same intention. You can see it and feel it when she's performing. That it's not coming from a place of brokenness. You know, it's coming from like a clear and focused place.
That's important.
So, you know, that's my perspective, you know, just my perspective. So, you know, V, would you like to introduce yourself to the Blue Poetry podcast?
That was a nice little opening. Thank you for that edification. But yeah, as he said, I go by V. I'm a poet. I've been writing for basically my entire life. I want to say since I was like 10. Most of like the people I went to school with knows that I was writing poetry in like elementary school and stuff like that. And I didn't know it was anything. It was just something that came natural to me. But as I got older and as I started to see the world the way it is, and I saw myself transition from a conscious person, and I love that we're getting into this conversation because it reflects in my art, it reflects in my work, and that's kind of what you're referring to. But I saw myself transition from this conscious individual, you know, just knowing it all and knowing that everything was and everybody is out to get us and all of this good stuff, to really reflecting on the inside and seeing, okay, let me take all of this energy and just focus on me, truly focus on me. Because a lot of us say, oh, I'm focusing on myself, you know what I'm saying, like, right, I'm focusing on me, but there's no truth to that. So I just really extracted all that I learned, and I say, you know, I'm not gonna complain. Like, yeah, the world, it is the way it is, but that don't have to be my reality, and I don't have to keep up that narrative. I could speak about healing. I could speak about what am I doing on a personal level to combat, you know, some of these things that are going on. So I don't consider myself a hero of anything, which I did at one point. Of course, I wanted to save the world. I thought I was going to save the world. And then that quote really hit me, where it's like, you don't, what is it? If you want to change the world, you change yourself, that kind of thing. And that's what started to materialize. So that's kind of where I am as an artist, as a writer. And I want to keep bringing that into the community too. Because there's a lot of times I go out to open mics and I'll be like, wow, another person just hurt and broken and talking about their trauma. And I get it. And I'm not going to badger anybody for that, you know. But at the same time, it's like, do you want to continue to be hurt? Do you want to continue to expand on this trauma? Because I really do believe that what we talk about, what we listen to, what we see, and what we choose to expand on or pay attention to expands. Right. So if we all gonna say that, like there's a line in my poem that goes, if we're so in tune with the fact that the revolution is inside, why do we still outwardly fight? Right. And it's like, it's kind of the same concept. Like, if we're so in tune with the fact that it's all inner work, why do we continue to pay attention to the trauma and the stuff and the negative things outside of us? That's why it keeps multiplying. So let's give light to the positivity and the, you know, the growth that's actually happening. And that's why I'm really attracted to everything that you do and how you go about it, because it's not positive vibes only for some likes. It's real, like, yo, positivity. Like, let's really spread this and be about it. And
I think that's where we hit that line, you know, where like you kind of got to be mentally ready for that, because that is a free way of thinking, you know, and that free way of thinking sometimes can allow you to, I don't know how to say it other than just create a lot of enemies. Like, you know, you can create a lot of enemies, a lot of haters, because people don't want that. People want to be like, you know, like if I am someone who went through something personally, right, a free thinker is kind of my enemy, you know? Like, you can't be in the middle. Okay. You know?
That makes sense. Yeah.
You know, you can't be in the middle. Like, I actually suffer. Like, you can't just be like, you know, like, you can't just do that. So I kind of feel like I know that, you know? So, like, if you was, you know, maybe touched as a child, or, you know, someone in your family, or step parent, or, you know, a friend of a family maybe sexually molested you or something like that. And me, I'm in the middle, like, well, you're an adult now, you got to deal with it. Right. But you're still on the, like, traumatic side of it. Me sharing, like, you know, you're an adult, deal with it and grow with it. Like, it's not your fault that it happened to you, but you're responsible as an adult to utilize that energy to do something good for yourself at this moment. But you're still like, I can't trust guys, and what if that happened to you and your daughter? And I'm just like, you can't personalize that with me. So, like, I understand. Like, I'm not, like, naive to the fact that, like, that this is real. Like, people are really going through things in the world. People are really suffering all over. That's a fact. You know, and, you know, like, I'm writing a book right now called The Drugs Book. And after this statement, I want to say the pledge, and we could get into, like, the affirmation and stuff like that. So we could, like, because we're talking about the topic right now, but I don't want to, like, start unofficially, you know, because we're on a roll. And I gotta say the pledge. Um,
I respect it.
so I feel like, like I'm not naive to the fact that people are really suffering and going through things, because I have things that I'm dealing with too. So, but the thing is, it's like you said, do we want to continue going through that? And also, like, how do we like how do we do the real work? Like, if if you've been touched, or let's just keep that example. If you've been touched as a child, molested in any way, what is the the goal as an adult? Is the goal to prevent anyone from getting touched, or the goal is to heal from you being touched?
Okay. Wow.
Because like, if you haven't healed yet, then you putting this big save the world goal first.
It can't really mean much, right?
It means a lot. It's just broken. It's
yeah,
just
that's what I mean.
broken.
Yeah.
So it's just like, if I'm broken, I'm giving you money advice. It's broken advice.
Yeah.
If I'm a gardener giving you farm advice, it's broken. It's good intentions. Like, it's good intentions. So like, I'm hurt. I've been touched, but I want to prevent other people from being touched, and I haven't healed yet. It's broken. I'm good at gardening just in my backyard, but I ain't farm yet.
That's a fact.
So it's broken.
Right.
It's like, I could give you a little, we can always take something from something, but the whole point is, it's like, sooner or later, the inner work is gonna need to be done. Like, you're gonna have to farm yourself before giving farm advice. If you're a gardener, you're gonna have to heal yourself. If you're trying to create awareness, and that's where consciousness comes from. I think that's what the definition means. Create awareness about something. Excuse me. Create awareness about something, and awareness is an outside thing. Mainly, generally, when you create awareness about something to other people outside of you, you haven't been aware of with the fact that you haven't healed. So I feel like, we need to kind of, like you said earlier, shift our focus, because and it's not easy, to shift the focus, but there are people out there who can help people shift their focus. But I feel like it's a thin line between, like, actually allowing the focus to shift, or like, the person trying to shift my focus is now my enemy.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Like, you can't say that, because you haven't been through this. We're different. You think like this, and I think like this. That's your perspective. These type of individualistic lines and stuff like that keep us separate and hold us back from healing. So with that being said, let's get this pledge popping, and then we could get back into this conversation.
Cool.
So the pledge is,
What's the pledge? I'm ready.
It's a guy called Abiodun Oyewole. I guess since you just started, we're gonna talk about your history and poetry history, but since you just started doing poetry like 2 years ago, you don't know Abiodun. Like, you've been in New York City your whole life. If you started doing poetry we maybe could have just like immediately started doing poetry and was immediately introduced to Abiodun. But it's just like, I'm not sure if you do know him.
I can't say it.
You ever heard of The Last Poets?
Yes. Not too. I've heard of the reference.
You heard of the reference?
Yes.
All right. So this was a New York City poetry group.
Okay.
Right. When they came up during that Black Panther era. Like, so they were, growing up during that era.
Right.
And they made it like cool to like, to like say what's really going on. Like, it made it cool for the conscious community to, like,
to express.
Their music was like causing this constant conversation. But anyways, this is a dude called Abiodun Oyewole, which is the creator of The Last Poets, the founder. He's in Harlem right now. The elder, some people call him Baba. And he does open mic, open house. So he's doing it right now as we speak, every Sunday.
Okay.
At his crib. and it's lit. You know, you go there and it's a bunch of conversation, and because he was like, you know, his group was to pioneer that, you know, which is kind of like why, you know, kind of probably has a lot to do with why we on this right now, because like music and poetry and all this stuff
so
is
aligned.
like the way for us to get it out.
Absolutely.
But what do we do with it after we got it out? So Abiodun Oyewole, the founder of the Last Poets.
How we doing?
Yeah. The founder of the Last Poets, was a open house at his crib. It's like an open mic, but since it's in the house, it's an open house. Open mic at his crib every Sunday, and he starts it off with this pledge. And he created this pledge because he didn't feel like saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Like, long story short, and it's kind of like affirmations.
Okay.
So let me see. How he does it is like, I'm not there yet, but I can try right now. You know, it's like a call and response, but my brain doesn't work. He knows the like. I'll say a line, and then like you'll say the last word of the line. You know?
Okay.
So right now I'm supposed to tell you the last word of every line. It's just 8 lines, but my brain doesn't work like that. Where I could just like literally say the last word of every line.
Do you have to like do it in your head?
I have to say it, yes, and then like write down each last word.
Gotcha.
But I can try right now. My brain might work like that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna speak bad about your brain.
Yeah.
You work, you good.
Yeah.
So look, free.
Mm-hmm. You could do it.
Grow.
Free grow. Okay.
Misery. So say it.
Free, grow, misery.
Oh man, sad.
Sad.
I don't know.
Free.
Like, I'm confused now. Like, you feel me? Hold
You
on.
need to make a song, so like a numeric device, so you could remember it.
I need to.
Yeah.
I
could see
probably
you
just
doing it.
I have good memory. I never even tried. I never tried to do this.
Okay.
So like literally, if I could just write all the 8 words down over and over,
You'll
like
get it.
that's not right. I can remember something, even if I speak it all the time. Just by me trying. So look,
Free,
grow, misery, down. There we go.
Down.
Free, grow, misery, down.
Okay. Free, grow, misery, down.
True,
True.
sad,
Sad.
a lift, like the word a and lift, a lift,
A lift.
and blessed. There we go.
Okay. Free, grow, misery,
down, true, sad, a lift, and blessed.
and blessed.
No. Oh man, a lift and here. My fault. Here, like HERE.
Oh, here.
Here we go. So now I got it. I can do this anytime I want. I did it once. I'm gonna do it again. All right. So we're gonna say it again. Free, grow, misery, down, true, sad, a lift, here. Free. You're gonna get it just off the
Okay,
vibe.
I get
You feel me?
it.
So, I want to be what I can be, to be proud, healthy, and
Free.
I want to say what I know to help my brothers and sisters
Oh, crap.
grow. I want to feel good about me and blame no one for my
Misery.
cause I'll be strong and turn it around. I want to go up, I'm not going
Down.
I want to do what I can do to make all my dreams come
True.
Remember my past, the good and bad, how I made it art, even when it was
Sad.
I want to share whatever my gift. And when you're feeling low, I'll give you
A lift.
I want to live without fear and know that I'm blessed for being
Here.
Just know that we're blessed for being
Here.
Just know that you're blessed for being
Here.
Just know that we're blessed.
Hey. That's so dope. That's awesome.
So that's the OG's pledge, and he knows how powerful it is. You know, it's like affirmations, all of my alley.
Yeah.
So he doesn't mind me using it or anyone using it because he's that type of person. It's like
That's what's up. Very
let
inclusive.
that be. Yeah,
Like,
let people utilize it for our benefit.
that made me happy. That's so cool. Don't laugh at me. That
No,
was
that's
so
so good.
cool.
That makes me happy too, which is why I'm sharing it. So I like to start
Yeah.
off the podcast
cool.
With the pledge, Abiodun, Oye Wole, maybe we could link and we could head to Abiodun crib.
Hey.
You know, because it's like an open house. You share poetry for him and then he give you his feedback on it. And it's always constructive criticism,
Okay.
you know.
Goals.
It's always good and a lot of good conscious conversation. I'm over there just shutting up. Like, I ain't got time with it.
Right.
But I'm intrigued, you know, just to get some information. There's always something you can take from it.
Yeah.
All right, so back into the conversation. So one question is, what's your definition of consciousness?
Consciousness. I mean, the main thing is awareness that I think of first and foremost. I think that we as a community, or once it became popular, once we do that to a concept, it kind of gets tarnished maybe, or it changes rather. But yeah, I think it's just in plain and simple awareness, what it is now, or maybe how it's evolved, you know, into some like a sort of fad, or there's negative connotations with it now. You know, or if you're conscious, you have to be mad, you got to be combative, you know, you have to be against something or for something. Is no gray areas, strictly black or strictly white. And,
okay.
You know, so it's a lot of that going on. But yeah, I would say awareness, to keep it simple.
Awareness of what?
General awareness, awareness of presence, you know, like, all right, so I'm about to probably reel it into the spiritual side, but awareness of you, right? You as a person, as a spirit, as a human, whatever you consider yourself to be, where you are, and what is going on around you in your space.
That's what I think you were ultimately going to get to. That's what I was trying to get you to say. Basically, awareness of what is going on around you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's make it simple. Yeah.
Consciousness. You know, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
You know, awareness of what is going on around you.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, I don't want to even give you the answer, but I think we could both, off what we just defined consciousness as, now we can define spirituality. What is the definition of spirituality?
Spirituality. I want to say another type of awareness of spirit, really. Awareness of spirit. I never thought about this. It's crazy. I never thought to define it. Yeah.
I would say, I had a thought earlier and I forgot it, but, you know, and I just want to write it down before I forget it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just weird. You just got to write it down. But awareness of self is what I would say personally spirituality is. Awareness of self, and consciousness is awareness of the environment.
Right.
You know, current events, what's going on. You ask any conscious person, they'll be like, well, it's important for you to know Black history. It's important for you to know what happened during this time. It's important for you to know what's going on right now because you're being affected. And you ask a spiritual person, they'll be like, you don't pay attention to nothing.
Right. It's all about the inner work.
Focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And how you are affecting everything around you. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think, like, the difference between spirituality and consciousness is. And there's no right or wrong. There's no only be one thing. I think it's like yin and yang.
They
and
intertwine.
And I'm not sure I ever even heard this argument or this concept.
Me either.
The opposite, or the verses, you know, spirituality versus consciousness. But that's what I'm kind of feeling like we're in right now.
Yeah.
Especially because we're both poets, and we go to places like open mics, and and you know, we have social medias, and there's so many pages that are influencing the way people think. You know, and people have all of these ideologies, these denominations, these religions, or these spiritual sects. You know, like these spiritual cults in a way, or these spiritual sects that like divide us, and people think there's one right way to be spiritual and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think like there is a big like difference, or like maybe like how do I say this? Like a, you know, like a cold war going on right now. Like there's like a cold war on the ground between people. Like,
Yeah.
you know, between the general population, there's a cold war where like we're fighting for consciousness and we're fighting for spirituality at the same time. You know, basically, is what I can see, because I feel like people, we want to be, you know, we want to be justified. You know, we want to be fulfilled, and we want to like have what we want.
Yeah.
But there's a spiritual way, you know, and then there's a conscious way. Like, we want to have what we want, but like we're...
Or I think it comes to a battle. And you know, it's funny, we're talking about one thing really, or like two things, but there's so many synonyms for it. So another way to kind of look at it probably is like, you know, being a human, right? And having to deal with human things. You got to eat, you got to sleep, you got to work and whatever. Or being your versus, or as opposed to being your spiritual self, you know, like getting in tune and, you know, relaxing and looking inward and all that good stuff. But I think that's sometimes the struggle too. Like, you know, being conscious, or being in the world and having to interact in the world. When you go to school, or when you go to work, or when you go in somewhere and you got to go stand at the bus stop, you're dealing with the outside conditions, you know what I mean? But it's like, you kind of like combat that, because sometimes it doesn't perfectly align, or you're not perfectly aligned within yourself, so it's hard to deal with these outer conditions. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so I think that's another way to look at it in terms of like consciousness, spirituality. Like consciousness, you have to deal with the things that are going on. Or I don't know if I like those clear-cut definitions really, because to me they do intertwine. But I see what you're saying as far as like a war between people. You know, not realizing that. Well, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, like.
Because I feel like if you was to ask like someone who's conscious, you know, like, are you free? They'd be like, oh, you think we're free? You know, like, it'll be like, how can we be free if we're still going through this? You know, like, that's like a conscience thing. And then spiritual people would be like, nah, we're free. You know, so I think it has a lot to do with, like, you know, balancing, you know, our mind.
Like,
have you ever been to a spiritual open mic? Like an open mic that was more on the spiritual side, you know, where it was like there were a lot of freedom. You know, I don't like the word freedom, but more of a free-minded type of vibe. It wasn't like, not like an in the middle, not like a, you know, in the middle, but like specifically spiritual. Like people came here to hell, kind of.
Oh no! Now that you put it that way, no, because an open mic is that kind of environment where it's just like, you know, everybody come, no matter what you got. But no, not that you put it that way. Not an environment where everyone it's designed for healing. Right. So I think that's so necessary. I think that's so necessary because, like, you know, like what was said before, a lot of people use writing or use poetry or use music even to as a form of healing, as a form of therapy for themselves, but they're not they're not engaging in the true healing processes outside of expressing themselves in that art form. So, you know, maybe they're not meditating, or they're not taking a deeper look at why they feel the way they do, or why they're broken, or, you know, what's going on around them. And instead it's just like, all right, I wrote this out because I've been through a traumatic experience and this helped get me through this experience. Now I'm going to share it. Right. Not realizing that you're sharing this traumatic experience, right, and other people are now having a traumatic experience. And that's not, I don't know, that's not my goal.
Right. So me, like, I think I'm very sensitive to energy sometimes. So like if a girl gonna go do like a I hate my ex poem, at the end of it I'm hating him too. Like, you know, like that's like
It's
you know,
natural,
like
yeah.
he did this to me, and you acting like
Especially
this.
if she expressed it well.
Yeah, and that's by the end, I'm like, you know, like I'm snapping, like, forget him, like, you know, like, don't ever go back, like, you know,
Yeah,
like,
that's
and
a
you never
fact.
know who she's talking about, or if she's still with him, you know, she, you know what I'm saying, gave him a second chance or